Good. Okay, call the meeting to order, 7:36 PM, Wednesday, July 17th. Apologies for the delay.
Councilwoman Selby,
Present.
Councilman Cardicchini,
Present.
Supervisor Keating,
Present.
Councilwoman Lukacic,
Present.
Councilwoman Martin,
Present.
Councilman Cardicchini, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we do not have any other preliminary matters, and we're going to move right into, we do have a public hearing tonight. Just pull that up here, and I will read the public hearing for us. All right, the first public hearing. Please take notice. The Town of Boston Town Board has scheduled a public hearing for 7:35 PM on July 17th, 2024 at Boston Town Hall, 8500 Boston State Road, Boston, New York, on the application of Albert Altier for a permit to store approximately 1,000 cubic yards of additional fill located at 6568 Hillcrest Ave, Town of Boston. All persons interested in the matter shall be heard for or against at such time and place, or may file written comments or objections with the town clerk until 4 p.m. on July 17th, 2024. This was dated on June 25th, 2024, published on July 4th, 2024, by the order of the town board, Sandra L. Quinlan, town clerk. The floor is open for the public hearing. If anyone would like to come up and make any comments, please state your name and your address, and the floor is now open for the public hearing. Sure.
So I am Sarah Johnston, 6514 Hillcrest. So, I mean, many of you that are on the board now are already well aware and have had conversations with me at length about the permit issue. In terms of additional fill, I would request that any additional fill to be denied. Mr. Altier has already had in excess of 1,000 cubic yards delivered to his property between the 11th of June and the 13th of June prior to even applying for a permit. And when the code enforcer went up there to inform Mr. Altier that he needed a permit, he said he wasn't going to apply for one, continued to have the fill brought in, and did not cease having the fill brought in until a stop work order was issued. This has been an ongoing issue for 10 plus years, as you are all well aware. So I would just like you to reevaluate and, reconsider all the issues that were addressed 2 years ago in relation to, the effect on the community, the reckless disregard for the surrounding community, the streets, his neighbors' quality of life, the safety concerns, of the 10 houses on the street. 8 of us have kids, but some, 5, 6, some older, but they all play. We all have dogs that all like to play out in the street and between houses and yards is what a rural neighborhood is supposed to look like. And, the actions of Mr. Altier are severely impacting our ability to even enjoy the outside. That will be my 3 minutes. I'll hand the floor over to one of my neighbors.
Good evening, Michael Johnston, 6514 Hillcrest. I'll keep this brief. I'm not one to involve myself in other people's business. I like to live and let live. What people do on their own property is not my business. With that being said, we're sacrificing the good of the community, the quality of life of our entire street. The neighboring streets, we lived there for 10 years. There has been thousands of dump trucks over the years from March to November, nonstop. I've got pictures of 15 of them lined up on the street, traffic jams. This is a dead end street. I lived in Tonawanda. We lived on a cut through. I moved up here because I wanted a dead end street. I wanted this community. It's a wonderful community. And it's bothersome that one person could have such disregard for the rest of the community. I try to conduct myself whenever I'm doing anything, I think of my neighbors. You know, that's the right way to be a community member. I've went down, I've spoken with Al. It was very cordial. I've got no complaints for that. But when is it going to end? What are we doing down there? We've literally filled a ravine. I don't understand. Like, you can't paint the Peace Bridge without doing a study. How are we filling ravines of waterways that seep into Chestnut Ridge? Where is this fill coming from? What's the runoff when it rains and it goes through there? You're going to have a landslide is what's going to happen. I mean, I'm not being dramatic about it. There is so much fill back there. There's been so many trucks, and I'm concerned for my children, for my dogs, and for my neighbors. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I am Joan Soteric, and I live at 6498 Hillcrest, and I've lived there since February of 2018. Every year since I moved in, mainly during spring and summer, we have had hundreds of dump trucks traveling back and forth on our street. Not only is it a noise nuisance, but with the amount of dust being kicked up, it's intolerable. You can't even sit on your porch and enjoy the summertime when you've got massive dump trucks, one right after the other, blazing by your house. We are forced to close our windows and stay inside. As I suffer from COPD, it's difficult as it is to breathe, let alone inhaling all this dust that's being kicked up. Under normal circumstances, additionally, it's next to impossible to enjoy the outdoors as it is a major safety concern with the kids and our pets. I vehemently oppose a permit to be issued to the property owner at 6568 Hillcrest Avenue. I do acknowledge that the homeowner is requesting a permit for 1,000 square feet. However, since the homeowner has blatantly disregarded the directive not to have any dump trucks bring fill, he has repeatedly disobeyed. I have no doubt if he is given a permit, it will not stop at 1,000 square feet. And I'm basing this on the hundreds and hundreds that have passed by my doorway. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm Mike Mumbach. I live at 6501 Hillcrest Avenue. Been at the residence since 2017. Exact same story as everybody else. Multiple loads constantly. Sometimes speeding, sometimes following the rules, but dangerous for my children. I also have concerns about the quality of the soil, what's going on back there. Another big concern I have is forgiveness over permission multiple times is not a way to conduct yourself. And it's so far been proven that nothing's working. So something needs to be handled differently. He needs to learn a lesson. And I don't want to be the one that has to make him learn a lesson. I want you guys to make him learn a lesson. I love my street. I love my neighborhood. These are all great people. I don't complain about anything ever. But I refuse to not complain about this man. It's horrible. And he's just doesn't care. And I don't know what's going to end up happening with what he's trying to do with this whole facility that he's building. But what are you doing? What's the proper procedures there? I mean, like, can you just ask for forgiveness and keep what's illegally yours there? I mean, I don't see how that's possible. I don't want to teach my kids to live their life that way either. I mean, I just don't know what's going on, and it's just unacceptable, and I want it to be resolved. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Mr. Alter. I'm the one responsible here. And there's a lot of false accusations being made here. The trucks going down are not constant from March till November, December. They come and go at times. When I can get fill, it comes in. I take it when I can get it. I mean, anyone trying to get free fill knows that when you have an opportunity to get it, you take it. And and you have really no control over it other than to refuse it. And certainly I don't want to refuse it. I went about this process to start with legally. I got a permit, a special application permit. I was awarded that permit. I went before the board, paid my $150 fee, was approved, and I was assured that I could renew that permit every year without going before the board again by paying a $25 fee, as long as I paid that $25 fee before the end of the year. At the end of December, before the year ended, I sent a $25 check to the town of Boston. They sent it back to me, refused it, sent me a different application, told me I was going to have to reapply before the board again. I feel that was wrong to start with. I was assured I'd be able to renew that permit every year. And they changed things due to the, I know why, due to the comments of all the neighbors. There's no question about that. So over this course of years, talk about, issues going on. I feel I'm the one being, somewhat, a lot of accusations have been made. I've been told that I've got contaminated fill in there, I'm polluting the creeks, re-diverting the coyotes to people's backyards. I gave a cat asthma, you name it, I've heard it. And, I haven't said anything to any of the neighbors except the one neighbor that spread emails around about contaminated fill. I said, come on down and take all you want and have it tested at your expense. Because why would I bring contaminated fill into my property? I'm not. His friend was there with him. He says, boy, it looks like good fill to me. He never took any, of course, because he was going to have to pay to have it tested. So that was the only time I really said anything to anybody other than Mike Johnson here. He's about the only person that's come down and spoke to me personally. No one else has. Pardon me?
Positive conversation. It's a very cordial conversation.
Yes, I know. I realize that. So at any rate, I'm trying to improve my property. The fact that I'm going to have a landslide, that's nonsense. I've had the DEC in there twice. They complimented me on the work I'm doing. Not only did they, look at it and see it, but they actually complimented me on the work. I actually had the Army Corps engineers there. They saw it. They went back all the way back to the streams, checked everything out. They had no issues. I mean, even the code enforcement officer mentioned to me when he was up there that the DEC overrides the town when it comes to things like that. So as far as the quality of the work, there is none. And as far as the landslide, there is none. As far as pollution of the creek, there is none. I'm simply trying to finish a project I started, and I'm getting near the end of it. Honestly, it would have been over with already if I hadn't been in all these issues in between with people trying to stop things. So the only thing I've done differently now is that at times they used to bring it in when it rained because there was other places they couldn't go. So they'd bring it to me because I'm in higher ground. I stopped that. I won't have them come down because I don't want them tracking anything up onto the road. I already had the road cleaned once because I was out of town when that happened. They brought fill to my property. It did make a mess on the road. I had it swept, cleaned. I stopped them from bringing fill in when it rains from now on. So, that's just trying to complete what I started.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
Yeah, Mr. Altier, if I may, just so the residents hear this, and I try not to keep get into a situation where there's back and forth dialogue in a public hearing, because that's really not the purpose of them. But am I correct that in your application on item number 15, it does state the town asks the time when the said fill operations are intended to be completed, and you responded by the year end of 2024 or sooner? Is that still
Yes.
correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I probably
Okay.
would have had it finished already if I hadn't have stopped. I had fill coming in from the
Mhm.
stadium. I was
Understood.
able to get a lot of fill.
Understood. Yep.
And I stopped that because the town code enforcement asked me to stop. I did. And, hadn't I stopped, I probably would have been very close to finish now.
Okay.
I don't want to go on with this either. It's costing me a lot of time and money too.
Fair enough. I appreciate you answering that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, everyone. You guys probably all recognize me, Jeff Persanti, 7806 Fedek Road. I wanted to bring something up that was very important, and this is on behalf of all the neighbors as well in the area regarding the solar project. It was brought to my attention.
If I could pause you 1 second. So
Yes.
this is actually a public hearing for the fill permit.
Oh,
So we will have no,
I
you're good.
apologize.
You're so welcome. Pop back up. No, just,
Yeah.
no, you're
Oh,
good.
I'm
You're
sorry.
good.
Okay.
I wasn't sure if you had anything else to say about Phil. I do recognize you. Anyone else would like to make comments for or against the fill permit? Okay, hearing no others, I will
Jason.
close.
We have 2 letters.
Oh, yes, thank you. Yeah, do you mind
Do you have
passing?
them? No.
Yeah, we did receive 2 pieces of correspondence.
May I
Trish,
ask one more question?
go ahead.
I want to know what the fill is for. Is that allowed to be asked?
Respectfully, so the fill permit, I mean, Mr. Altier's here. I mean, so traditionally, we again, we've all been down this road before, but so traditionally, most letters that are sent in, we mark them as received and filed in the town clerk's office. But these 2 residents did want to have their letters read, so we will entertain that request. The first letter, this was received in the town clerk's office on July 15th at 12:22. And this was from Daryl and Danielle Opelia. I hope I'm pronouncing their last name correctly. Located at 6563 Hillcrest Avenue, Orchard Park, New York, 14127. Dated July 15th, 2024. And it reads as follows. To the Boston Town Hall Board. This letter concerns the fill permit for Robert Altier at 6568 Hillcrest Ave. We strongly believe that he should not be allowed a fill permit. This has been happening every summer for the past 8 years. We are tired of the large truck traffic, constant noise, and the creation of dust along our road. Also, several families have lived on Hillcrest Ave, and this constant truck traffic creates an unsafe environment for children. His request for another 1,000 cubic yards is equivalent to another 100 trucks. If this permit was to be issued, it would greatly negatively impact those who are a part of the Hillcrest Ave community. We strongly believe that this fill permit should not be issued. 3 questions we would like answered include, is there a date for when the fill is supposed to be completed? And again, just for the record, that was answered earlier. Was Albert ever fined for bringing in more fill without a permit? We did not believe that he was fined. And 3, who is paying to clean the road? The taxpayers. Sincerely, Daryl Apelia and Danielle Apelia. The second letter, which was dated July 8th, 2024, from Greg. Again, I'm also hoping I'm pronouncing the last name correctly. Hymanz, Heimenz, located at 6550 Hillcrest Ave in Orchard Park. In response to the application for fill permit by Albert Altier, no. Is this a joke? He has brought in hundreds of truckloads in the last month or so, thousands over the last 8 to 9 years. When will it stop? And again, this was received in the town clerk's office, date stamped July 8th at 11:52 in the morning. Those are the 2 letters that, again, are on file in the town clerk's office for anyone who would like to take a look at those. So should this fill permit be approved tonight, roughly 65 to 70 additional trucks, and then this project is, this phase, I'll call it. Yep, okay. Anything from the board before we close the public hearing?
I agree with what you said about you don't generally involve yourself in other people's business, especially when they're doing work on their own property. we clearly remember that meeting. And it was shocking to everybody on the board to hear, the volume of trucks. It's disruptive. Anytime there's a construction project, generally there's a start date and an end date, 8 to 9 years of that. I would probably be sitting where you're sitting if I wasn't sitting here. That being said, is there a balance that we could strike that would allow him to complete his project if we shorten the window of when Phil can be brought in and dropped off with a beginning time and an end time? I mean, certainly I think I speak for the board when I say we're sympathetic to the situation. I wouldn't want to deal with that. I don't want you to have to deal with that. But at the same right, if you're looking at a project that he wants to complete, which I understand that people have the right to improve their own property and do those things, is there a balance that we could strike?
My concern is
You're not incorrect in that. I agree with you in that.
And how can we, in good faith, say, okay, well, you've got to be in August, knowing his past history, he's going to continue.
Well, the reason the fill permit was changed, frankly, was because of that meeting. And it was, the form that we had was decades old and didn't address any of the concerns of more modern type construction and things like that. I mean, when that fill permit was adopted, nobody had any environmental concerns. I mean, that really wasn't a thing. And we've had a number of situations where people are bringing fill in. I mean, I would never bring contaminated soil to my property either. You want to bring good fill in, and we did bring fill in on my property to fill in a pond that was dug too deep and it leaked. So it was a safety concern, but it was also, it was an eyesore because the water would raise and fall based on what the water table was doing. But that was all came from construction sites within the town. I knew what the fill was going in, so we're trying to balance this. Like, how do we,
Prior to even, so I determined request, he had received. He said, I'm almost done. He's been here done. And in regard to him saying, I'm not gonna have a land, he did. He lost some of his bill. And if the trucks end this year, he's been respectful, at least about the timing. They ended about 4 o'clock. In Baltimore truck stop, it is endless, all those construction and until dark. I've got on my street, 72 trucks between coming down the street and going back. That's about a truck every 5 minutes. From 7:45 in the morning. So where is the balance? Are we in the week? No, we have a week.
What gets done in a scenario where you just do whatever you want and don't follow procedures and you get all those filled? Are you just entitled to say, okay, I get to keep it now? I didn't get caught till the end, or do you have to give it back?
As far as the fill permit, respectfully, that's a question for the code enforcement officer, because the fill permit, any enforcement on this comes down to the code enforcement officer. So if there is a violation of said permit or code for that matter, code enforcement officer, whoever that individual is, any town has the ability to work with said landowner to try to remedy the situation, give a window of time to remedy it. If it's not done, 9 times out of 10, usually that gets turned over to the town prosecutor. The individual is brought into court and that's handled in court. As a town board, we're the governing board. We're not authoritative board. We don't have the ability to discipline or, create things. Yes, we adopt policy and procedure, but it's the other departments that orchestrate that to your question. So yes, we've heard, again, I know we're all in front of each other all again. Taking the permit for face value, and respectfully, Mr. Altier, I appreciate you being here. While we're all here, the permit, which is publicly available, does state that this approximate fill amount, and I'm reading off the permit, and it is part of the board packet. Anybody wants a copy, feel free to see me or the town clerk. We can get you a copy, but it is available online. But to complete the site leveling that it reads as follows, item number 9 is to complete the site leveling that I was granted permission to begin with on March 3rd, 2021 by the Boston Town Board. The purpose is to reasonably level an area for a future building site. There's one question answer that came from the public tonight. The approximate amount of fill required is 900 to 1,000 cubic yards. The approximate average depth of the area to be filled was referenced in the site plan, which is attached. The length of time required to place said fill on the property is placed daily upon delivery, which was also stated on record tonight. The time when the said fill operations are intended to commence upon the renewed permit to approve. So, and correct me if I'm wrong, I do believe since we were notified, code enforcement, Mr. Altier did stop, the deliveries, and he's been waiting for this permit. And then last but not least, the time that the said fill operations are intended to be completed, again, Mr. Altier documented by year end of 2024 or sooner. So that is the timeline. A lot of the questions I would say, are, I guess all the cards are face up on the table. All the documentation is here. It sounds like this project may be done. Yes, go ahead. Sure.
My concern is what's going on here is almost like the foot in the door technique. You get a small yes, and then you do what you want, and then you continue to do what you want and force this whole big production to try to put an end to it. And then you show up to the production. It's not a big deal. I'm almost done. We moved in 10 years ago, and there were signs on front lawns. When will it end? Please slow down. There's children. This has been going on for over 10 years.
Understand.
It has been, I don't know how much the original permit was for, but again, there's been thousands of trucks, thousands over the years. So if we're getting a small yes here, like, oh, it's just 65 more trucks. Again, I'm all for living and let live. Please live your dream, do what you got to do. But I'm concerned that we're going to get our small yes, and then we're going to do what we want to do. And then we'll be back here next year pleading, like, please. I don't understand where we're going to come to an end here.
I think this ties into Mr. Mumbach's question. So should the permit not be adhered to? The town board doesn't have to approve the permit, to answer your question. And then should additional fill be brought in for any reason, then code enforcement could take the necessary actions either through their office and or through the court office to answer your question. You're welcome. Totally understand. That was the old permit. Mm-hmm. And we thank you for that. Yeah. Well, I agree, and Councilman Cardicchini, said it perfectly. We're trying to strike an accord here, right? Because the live let live theory, or if you look at it through the lens of respectfully any vehicle, we've had a couple matters there this town board has had to deal with. We've had a couple of matters throughout the community where any vehicles, they're a delivery vehicle. I know people don't like that answer, but if if somebody decides to put in a pool and they need the fill trucks, the concrete trucks, the pool, right? There's going to be construction. Jason Keating decides to build a house and clear cut land. You're going to have the logging trucks. You're going to have the trucks that clear land. We do understand. We're absolutely listening, and we've tried to distribute that or exhibit that we're listening based off of amending the fill permit, which was decades old, to make it more relevant to modern day concerns, questions, DEC violations. Town of Boston is under an MS4 water district, so you have part of the Lake Erie watershed. There's many layers to this onion, and I will also state, Mr. Altier is correct. The last time that the residents came in front of the town board, we did ask that the DEC and Army Corps of Engineers go out, and it is correct that they did not find any violations there. So I have no issues putting that on record. We do have that, and I assured all the residents that, before and now that has not been an issue, knock on wood. And so hearing everything here, I think we're all kind of on the same page. And I'm not going to speak for the board, but we did have some conversation downstairs in the work session. I think if everybody, we have an end date. I think that's kind of what, at the end of the day, I think that's kind of the crux of all this. You guys respectfully want to get back to your lives, your quiet road, your quiet lives. We have an end date. I know it's the end of the year. It's not next week, but it's the end of the year. That's what's documented here on file, on record of the town. The noise ordinance, we did have some conversation, just for the record. We did have some conversation downstairs of maybe hours of operation. I know that gets difficult with, the availability of fill, but respectfully hearing the concerns, again, listening to the public, the concerns of, the children, the pets, the dust, all these other things. Do we explore looking at putting in, in the town board has every legal right to request this. Do we look at hours of operation? Maybe 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. School buses are done. People are traditionally at work, other than understandably those that are working from home in today's world. But we're trying to strike a balance and accord with everybody and trying to be fair and equal. So I don't know. With that being said, I don't know if there's any other discussion from the board or we want to have any discussion. I know the sure. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was almost done. I need another. And how will we monitor it? Okay.
Yep.
I have cameras that are checking out the trucks. Do I need to call and be like, hey, see you next week? What is the next step in the plan?
Now, that's why we created the permit, that it's an annual permit, that it expires. It's not an open-ended ticket, year over year. Totally understand. Totally understand. So then what happens without a permit? The town board can deny, the town board, whoever sits in these 5 chairs today, tomorrow, 10 years from now, the town board has full, authority. We're the governing body. We have the authority to deny said permit. And if it's not complied with, then we work with code enforcement and or the town clerk with whoever the property owners. I'm not singling anybody out here, but any property owner that is not compliant, that would then be something enforced by code enforcement. And if it is not a correctable action or something that is being corrected, then that would be turned over to the prosecutor for the municipality.
70 trucks you just can't under a permit, an approved permit, or was that?
That according to this, I would have to say that no permit has been on file to answer your question. Understand? We do understand. We do. Right. Well, respectfully, all of you have better things to do on a Wednesday evening than come back in, because we did go down this path once before. Right. I understand. Right.
So, Mr. Altier, how am I pronouncing that? Sorry, Altier. So my question is, if you're saying 65 to 70 trucks to be finished, which is what you stated, for 900 to 1,000 cubic yards is what you're estimating, and then you're finished with the fill part. And by year end of 2024. So it sounds like you've already had your 65 trucks in June.
If he's
Can you
not-
come
if he's
to
not
the
at
microphone?
none
Yeah.
of this is being picked
Sorry,
up.
I can't really hear you.
Yeah. If you
Could
can just come to the
come to the
microphone.
microphone,
Okay.
please?
Thank you. Thank you, town clerk.
The recent fill that I had brought in was coming from the stadium project. Had 3 trucks running throughout the day. They were showing up anywhere from 8 to 8:30 in the morning and running until 3:30 to, pardon me?
7:45 in the morning. And I have the camera.
No.
I will buy it.
I didn't sit there and look at my clock, but every minute, of every day. But anyway, we're talking 15 minutes difference here. I said 8 to 8:30. You said 7:45. So regardless, there was 3 trucks. Okay. They'd come in, they'd empty, they'd have to make their trip back to the stadium. Some trips took longer than others because they're not the only trucks being filled there on site. So running back and forth every 5 minutes is not accurate. I mean, that's my point here as far as the number of trucks constantly down that road. That's not accurate. When you got 3 trucks making a round trip from the stadium throughout the day, I don't think 3 trucks going back and forth
Right.
is that terrible.
Well-
I was a construction project manager for my life.
Right.
That's what I did.
Under,
Dealt with all this before on many projects. There's always problems with people and neighbors when it comes to construction. And I'm certain the people around the stadium right now have the same issue going on. They got constant trucks running back and forth too.
Okay, but I'm asking for this project here on Hillcrest. So you're considering 900 to 1,000 cubic yards will be fulfilled with 70 trucks.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. They run somewhere around 13 yards of fill, 13 to 15 yards in a truck. I'm telling you what I'm telling you what the guy told me.
all right, let's keep it civil. We're talking about a fill permit.
So-
Himself for weight.
Thank you.
He's
Thank you.
limiting himself for weight. So I'm just responding with the information I got.
And you anticipate finishing actually when? Since winter would be coming October, November, right?
I don't know
So-
when I'll get it again. Honestly, it got stopped. I don't know when I can get it again. I don't have that answer. So
Okay,
obviously, I hope by the end of the year I can get it. I mean, it could be done in a month or so if I were lucky enough to get fill again from the stadium because it comes quick. But if I can't, I may be waiting 2 months or 3 months before I can even get it. I just don't have an answer for that. The only way I know when I'm getting it is usually I call a night before, 2 nights before, sometimes a week in advance if they're looking for a place. I just don't know. I don't have the answer. So it's a gamble for me right now whether I can even finish it, even if I get the permit, because I know the permit's going to expire. So I'm hoping. I just giving you information on what I need yet.
I feel their frustration. Like this has been going on for a very, very long time. So they're done. Think about if it was you, right? And then they have to probably hear the dirt being leveled after that.
Level, this being levels is coming in. I got equipment. I
Oh,
own my
so,
own
okay, so
It's getting
that's
to
literally
level
going on all
every
day
time
long.
it's brought in.
Well, that's what Mrs. Johnson was saying, that
Yeah, it's literally,
I own everything around it. Nobody's down there but me. You're not even around it.
I mean, I'm not. I'm working around our property.
Well, I love working around mine.
Problem is, I feel sleep is hard.
What are these last 70 loads, man?
What's
And it's
that?
like,
What are these last
yeah,
70 loads
70
illegally?
loads, that's like 3 days. 1,000 cubic yards
I
in 3
can't do
days,
what
I can
she's
suffer for 3 days.
Right.
That's if you say that's a month. But I'm a reasonable person. I don't want to have to come back here again. I'm tired of spending my time. You know, if in 3 days you eat your 70 trucks and you're done, and I never have to come over the town, I will be ecstatic. I will buy you beer.
I wish I could too. I wish I could have too.
But I feel like you have just this, you're a terraforming hobbyist. You don't or anything, you just constantly like. That's,
Wow.
well, I'm just saying, after
Mm.
10 years, that's what it seems.
You realize how much it cost me to push that dirt around? I don't do it for a hobby.
okay.
So the last 70 loads you did illegally, your thing there, just like screw it, it'll just work out.
One what?
Your last 70 loads you did without a permit, just in this last month.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I felt like I was deceived by the town because I was told I could renew my permit every year for $25. I sent them the $25.
So you just did
And
what you
they,
want.
and they did not, they changed the rules.
So screw them,
So-
do what you want.
No,
Got it.
whatever way you want to look at it.
Well, that's what I'm looking at.
Well, I feel I was deceived and I should have been grandfathered in. So let me put it to you this
People are
way.
angry.
If somebody were to
Okay.
start a building
Yeah.
and build a home,
Yeah.
let me ask you this. If you were to start a building and start building your home and your building permit expired and they didn't renew your permit for you, how would you feel about that? You couldn't finish your home.
Bring in the bill if you had a building.
Yeah, you're
But
talking
you
out
don't
your,
have intentions to build,
How do you know what I have intentions of doing?
because if you had intentions to build, you'd have plans, you'd have them come before the town board.
Doesn't mean I don't have future plans.
Right.
I need to I need to finish the site first.
We need to cut.
Oh, fully understand.
Finish the site first.
All right.
That's a project
So
in itself.
let's reel this back in. So we're going back to a fill permit. That's why we're all here tonight. Mr. Altier has on his document has stated on the record that he intends to complete this by the end of the year. And respectfully, if it's not, then he has to fill out a new permit. That is something that any town, whoever sits in these 5 chairs, a town board, respectfully to answer some of your questions, a town board can change rules, pricing, fees, et cetera, at their leisure. As it happens at a town board meeting, it's above board, doesn't happen behind closed doors. So that permit was changed based off of these residents taking time out of their personal lives, coming in, expressing their concerns. We updated and modernized that permit. Grandfathered, it doesn't really, it's the legal term of that is pre-existing non-conforming, but that's more of a code matter than anything else. So taking the application for face value, assuming that the fill that is being proposed to come in, and then that we have a year end date, does the board have an appetite to approve this permit tonight? Do we want to table this permit? And we've heard a lot of additional feedback tonight. The residents have expressed their concern.
I'm in favor of tabling it tonight, pending, look, we got to come up with a schedule. We got to know what's going to happen and when. I mean, the fact that you're here, I respect that you came, but you did all this in June with
Right.
nothing, and, we're not in the business of, costing people time and money. But the bottom line is that you circumvented the system. You really did. And they live with that decision. So we need to tighten this up as far as what can be delivered, when, establish some times.
Fill you in as I know, because I don't know.
Well, the people you got a huge municipal project going on right now. Everybody in New York State knows about that stadium being built, how big it is, the work that's being done. It's everywhere. And they're looking to get rid of that stuff.
Well, honestly, they were stockpiling it there to fill in the.
Yeah, I'm aware where they were stockpiling it.
Well, they're using it to fill in the existing demolition, the old stadium.
Some of it,
That's
yes.
why, yeah. So up until recently, I wasn't able to get anything. So it finally, I got a call and said, hey, can you take fill?
Right.
So obviously doesn't get much better than the fill coming from there and amount you're able to get. So years ago when they did a remodel on that stadium, town of Boston fill was going all over the town of Boston without permits, no permits. It was going everywhere.
Right. Well, in 2024, it's not the Wild West.
I
Right.
understand
And
that.
you got to tighten things up.
Here.
And respectfully, I would be looking at, if we approve it, conditions, if it's not followed, because same as with a planning board submitter, of a project. If it's not fulfilled, here's the conditions that we are, if we approve, here's under these conditions. And if these conditions are not followed, then that would go to the next level, which is code enforcement and then court. So I would ask, if it's all right with the board, if the folks here provide their guidance on times, days, times that would be, I guess, what you would think would be sufficient. Obviously, it's construction period, so timing of getting the trucks, but what would be the time, like start, end for the days, and the specific days that you would allow, just to help us with the, negotiation with how to do this. So you don't have to answer now. Just it's what I would be looking for is feedback from you, and then to try and help him get his project done. I'm a little concerned about what would come after that, given that you've already taken some liberties without having a permit fulfilled. So I'll be, I guess, looking forward to what's coming after this. And that's what my situation is.
Anything else?
If I can make a suggestion to Mr. Althea, I would, if it would probably behoove you to reach out to all the people that were providing you fill and make sure you can line up as much as you possibly can so that you can,
I
it's worth a phone call.
obviously will.
Yeah.
If I were granted that permit.
Okay.
I really only have one large company that normally brings it to me anymore.
Okay.
At times I may get someone, it doesn't mean it's, they'll look at the trucks and they'll say, oh, it's a different name. Well, they contract other truckers, you know.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with one person in general, one trucking firm in general. A lot of them contract out other carriers and truckers, so names on the truck.
Yeah.
Kind of meaningless.
Just splitting the difference here and being fair and open and honest with everyone here in this room. So our next town board meeting is almost a month out. Being respectful of your time, also respectful of the residents' time. If we're all here tonight, can we entertain possibly I'll just chalk it up to a mediation that trucking will be from 9 o'clock in the morning to 3 o'clock in the afternoon, if that's permissible, Monday through Friday only. And again, respectful of the residents. Admittedly, would like to see you finish your project. Also would like to make sure that you all can enjoy your homes in the town in which you live, which you choose to live, because that's a choice. So, with that, hearing, and I hear what the fellow board members say, but respectfully, if we seek additional information, we do not have another meeting in 2 weeks. It's pushed out to the middle of the month. So just being respectful of everybody's time, tempus fugit, right? I would say if we can strike an accord tonight, something that is palatable for everybody, might not be ideal, but if we all walk away with some kind of consensus that respectfully, the application says end of the year, I think that's checkbox number one. Maybe structure some kind of timeline that's away from the school buses, et cetera. So let's say at 9:30 in the morning to 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon gives you some latitude throughout the day. If you can get 20, it is what it is, 20, 30 trucks, whatever it is, knocks out your project, it gets it done. It's not ideal, but I guess from the town board side of things, should the criteria and the conditions on said permit not be fulfilled, yes, then that's where the town board has the ability and the latitude to work with code enforcement and or our court system to hold accountable, and or next year respectfully, should there be a permit, we could just simply say no. So you can certainly contact me, in all due respect. I will probably send you to the code enforcement office because I don't have again, we're a governing body. We're not an authoritative body. So that's where code enforcement has the ability to take that action. That would be the first stop. You are always welcome to contact any of the five of us. We're here to serve you, but respectfully, that would be a code enforcement matter.
Right.
Yeah.
I know.
My frustration since this last time around.
Okay.
Went down the ballot and gave the permit and said you need to fill it out. Y'all disregarded that.
No,
They
no.
had trucks for 2 days. He said the code enforcement asked him to stop. Yeah, he made it so he needed to stop, but he didn't until it stopped. Everybody at the time.
Forgiveness works over permission.
And that's setting the precedent.
That's inaccurate information to start with, okay? Tom came up to see me. He was up 3 times, okay? All right, the first couple of times, he wanted to know why I filled him in on what happened along the way, okay? He didn't know.
Right.
He didn't,
All right.
let me finish my conversation. So-
Hey, Mr. Altier, Mr. Altier.
So at any rate,
Hey, Mr. Altier, respectfully, we're gonna keep things moving along here because, the idea of a public hearing is not debate back and forth.
did
So-
not disregard his permit. I already had the permit that the town
Okay.
sent me.
Does-
I
does
filled
the-
it out.
Does the board
And
wish
it-
to choose to table
Gave it
this
to him.
application tonight, or would
I
we
didn't
like to
disregard
consider
his
approving with
permit.
conditions?
And I stopped when he asked me to stop. The day he asked me to stop, I stopped.
I
think
I'm up for
let 'em
approving with
do it.
conditions.
with stipulations.
Fair enough.
And if it doesn't work out, it's your last chance.
Oh, I understand. The town board has been trying to get the code enforcement office where it needs to be, admittedly. I will very openly share that. It's been in my budget presentations even. Code enforcement is who enforces that. We need more if anybody knows a code enforcement officer, just my public service announcement.
Yeah.
We need code enforcement officers. There's not enough of them out there right now. We do. Trust me, we hear what you're saying. We're trying to strike a balance here.
I make a motion, we approve.
May I speak?
Sorry. Yes, sir.
I have nothing to do with this project. I come to all the meetings. I heard this whole story a year ago. That new permit is probably because of this gentleman, right?
Mhm.
Every negative thing that comes down on people was caused by someone.
Oh.
I give him one last chance. 8 to 4. You're done by Labor Day, August 30th, period. Modify the date. Tell these people before Labor Day.
Yeah.
You better be
Conditions.
done. And send Tom up after that. Just a suggestion.
Hmm.
Listen to it all. I think it's reasonable both ways. Anybody object?
What's your name, sir?
Ken Quinlan.
Quinlan,
Ah.
Shane Quinlan.
This much.
That'd be Shane Quinlan.
The truth behind trucking, and I'm sure Mr. Telak can inform you how it normally works.
I understand, but we're talking about a fill permit, so we're going to reel this back in, being respectful of everybody's time tonight. We do have a young member of our community in the audience, so I'm sure that little one has a bedtime tonight. But respectfully,
I was just referring to the time of the trucks because I don't have a lot of control.
Okay.
understand, but if the town board can provide a window and say, here are the days of operation times, that gives you some latitude to operate, potentially get this taken care of. Right. So.
The other option is denying it.
So is everyone in agreement? Conditions, okay.
Yep.
All right,
I
with
have
set,
status.
go ahead.
So with the status requirements, I would ask that you provide the town board a status for the next town board meeting on where the trucks are. So if we approve tonight,
Yeah, at what point?
then
it can
by the
affect-
next town board meeting, where are you at? And therefore, the first Wednesday of the town board meeting, right? The first Wednesday of every month, when we meet, we would be asking for an update status. Where are you with your project? You don't have to come, just a letter or an email, just providing us an update on where you are at with your project.
The next meeting is August 21st.
August
By August
21st
21st.
is the next meeting. That is one of the conditions that I am
I'm writing this down as we go.
recommending
All right, so,
for as I make a motion to approve.
yeah, okay, so in the stipulations, just for the record, for this fill permit as submitted, is, if we're all in agreement, is fill between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m., if that's kosher with everyone?
The buses come at 8:40 something, so. truckers
During the
like to
summer?
get there early.
During the summer?
Well,
Oh, not during the summer. no.
We're talking done by Labor Day. Like I say, I don't want to squish anyone's dream. It's just this has been going on for a decade.
oh,
Yep.
we hear you. We do hear you.
We're pushing on
Trust
by
me, we do
not-
hear you. We do.
Proper procedure.
All right. Do we want to do a 9:15? Give a little. 9 to 4, Monday through Friday. So keep the weekends for everybody to keep the peace. And then Mr. Altier respectfully would provide a status update on Phil to the town board. And Mr. Altier, if you don't mind, you can either call my office, speak to me, myself, or Allison, who works in my office, or just report with the town clerk. Either one of us can take that
With a
information.
completion date of what?
And the completion date as filed on the permit by the end of the year. Unless the board
December.
wants to change that.
By December 31st,
I mean, the permit, the fill permit
2024.
is technically
31st.
2024.
this year.
There's really no way to track the volume. It's just the time. All day.
Try to figure it out. Okay, if we
Someone make a motion.
we covered this one. We have a motion we have the motion on the table with the stipulations of the approving the fill permit, operation of 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, and then reporting to the town board or town clerk's office before each board meeting so we can report back and it'll be on town record. Is that amicable to everyone? This is for the approximately 1,000 yards.
Not the 70.
I'm
Correct. We're moving
Yeah.
forward.
Hopefully putting an end game to this. Yes. Okay. So
I'll
there's a-
second the motion.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Cardicini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek,
yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay. We do have one other
Thanks, Bob.
we do have one other public hearing that was supposed to be at 7:35, so we're going to roll right into that one. Second public hearing tonight is and reads as follows. Please take notice that the Boston Town Board has scheduled a public hearing for 7:35 p.m. July 17th, 2024 at Boston Town Hall, 8500 Boston State Road, Boston, New York, on the application of Kevin Monaco for a permit to store approximately 1,000 cubic yards of additional fill at 7040 South Abbott Road, Town of Boston. All persons interested in the matter shall be heard for or against at such time and place, or may file written comments or objections with the town clerk until 4 p.m. on July 17th, 2024. This was dated on June 25th, 2024, published on July 4th, 2024, by order of the town board, Sandra L. Quinlan, town clerk. The floor is open for the public hearing. If anyone comes up to the microphone, please state your name and address, and the floor is open for the public hearing. No one. There we go. Good. How are you tonight?
Good. My name is Drew Kraus. I live at 7015 South Abbott. I moved into Boston or South Abbott in 1979. Lived here all my life. Our houses, our property has been destroyed. We are directly across the street from Monaco. I don't disregard those guys for building an excellent business, landscaping. I accept it's landscaping. I'm going to start at 7 in the morning, work at 7 at night. What I have a problem with is they just built a 7,000 to 10,000 square foot warehouse across the street without permission from the town, as the town zoning board told me, or zoning inspector told me. They've built this 10,000, I'm not sure the size, 7,500, 10,000 square foot. There are 6 independent businesses coming out of this across the street from us. Automotive businesses squealing their cars at 10:30 at night. I've called the town. I've sent videos to Tom probably 20, 30 times. We've called the police to our house. Please come and help us. There's now a workout gal. Sorry, I don't know the name of the company. 6 o'clock in the morning, rips open the garage door. Go, go, go. I mean, it's every single day. Okay. I don't mind the business they're building, but this is ridiculous. Who said, I don't even know if it's legal. Who said you can build a 6-person or 6-company business right here? I mean, there's 6 different garages, 6 different companies not working during normal business hours. They're coming after business hours, working till 11 o'clock. There's parties there we've called. That stops. Then they're squealing. The girl in the corner every single day from 6 in the morning till sometimes 10 o'clock at night. It all varies. There's just zero disregard for the community. We have watched very similar thousands of cubic feet dropped in. We are told there was no permit for that. We see the asphalt come in from the town. I just think there's a disregard, and hearing this honestly was shocking, because I'm like, well, I guess this is what happens in Boston. This is the first time I've ever stood here, ever, because we've been great. We love Boston. And my wife and I, Celine, are moving. Our kids want to live in our house. I don't know if I want them to live there. We are miserable right now, miserable. And the fact that you guys are allowing this to happen when they don't ask for permission, this sounds like the theme. Don't ask for permission, do whatever the hell you want, excuse me, and you can get away with it. And I can see it. And you should all drive down there, okay? We are the first house in Boston, very proudly, right across the street from me. huge building. They have now brought in fill that they did not have permit for, that I was told by Tom, and they're getting ready to build another one of these buildings. It's atrocious, atrocious. And the minute I had an inkling of what was going over, I walked over to talk to Kevin. Kevin, listen, you're building this. I don't want to stop you. I don't know what you're doing. Now, first of all, I didn't know he was doing 6 different businesses. But I said, look, I will pay for the trees. I want to put trees all the way across on your property. Let me block this out. You built this giant building in front of me. No, we'll take care of it. And it never stops. And I'm watching it. It's going to happen all over again. They're doing the same exact thing right next to it. It's got the whole thing every morning, 7 o'clock, 7:30, boom, boom. You know, we're hearing the trucks drop it off. And I'm, Tom, what's going on? I can't stop them. They're just doing it. They're not asking for permission. Tom's overwhelmed. I understand it. Right? We call him. I feel terrible for him. I heard he just got assaulted the other day trying to do his job. So I'm not sure what's going on in this town, but you guys need control. I understand you need workers. I have a business. I've run multiple businesses in Western New York. I have 250 employees, but I know how to treat people right. You guys are not letting it, taking care of this town. I've been here all my life. I just don't understand it. So we're asking for a little consideration and stop letting people get away with not abiding by the rules. That's all we ask, right? We're all trying to go by the rules here. So that's all we're-
Code can enforce what's called a stop work order.
He's been there,
Right.
and they just push him away
Well-
multiple times.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Yep. No, that's good. That's good. That's good feedback. Appreciate it.
Get the media involved and get the media to come here to these meetings to see what's going on. Force the board to resign. Let every member up there resign. So.
Well, respectfully, so any building like that, that's not the town board. That is the planning board. That is not the town board that approves those projects.
It's not legal. He was not allowed to put 6 independent businesses there. And the town zoning officer said they did it illegally. Why is it still going on? Why are all these there? You know, they told you guys, the planning board, that they were going to use half of the building themselves and rent out 3 of them. Now they're renting out all 6, all hours of the night, and continually getting ready to build another one. I ask you to do the right thing.
No.
You was across the street from your home where you've lived for 30 years, and this
Mhm.
is going on in your face on the regular all day. You raise your children there. Boston's been a beautiful place to live. I don't know. It's a place to live there.
So we can,
Make the news
I
and start
can't stand it.
embarrassing the town
It's like,
board.
what happened?
well, again, this isn't a,
This guy was pulled over for a loud muffler.
okay.
Loud muffler. You hear those all the time, like, it's a joke, are you kidding me?
Yep.
Turn it up. This guy across the street was standing, he works on his machine. I understand people are mechanics. But in any town, have you ever heard anyone across the street, from any home where, I mean, you have no idea how insane it is.
Be
And
glad to
nobody
provide
does.
everybody.
And whatever's happening on your guys,
It's ridiculous. And, you know,
I
the
don't
block
think
off
it's
the
ever
street
gonna-
will be
it'll never
arrested,
stop.
you know?
no one's stopping.
It's not. You citizens stand up and we're the ones that are gonna get our skunks cracked.
President,
I mean,
Todd,
like,
get
you
the
know, we have a
news, get the news
grandchild, so,
involved,
like-
get the media involved.
I'm there and I'm holding the
Embarrass
thing
the
and I'm
town
like,
board.
I mean, my heart just goes, like all of a sudden, it's out of nowhere. It's the girl yelling out and out of her, like, okay, great, that's good. I want to be happy for people that are doing what makes them happy. People need to be healthy and exercise. So, but I don't want to hear that when I'm just waking up in the morning or when I just went outside at the end of the day or we're having dinner and I don't want to open my windows because Monaco has nonstop pollution. It's just it's an eyesore. They don't care about the environment, the earth, or the neighbors. They have no respect for the people. And the town has done nothing. The state troopers have basically belittled me when I've called and complained about it. Oh, he's not doing anything wrong. I stood outside on my phone so the woman, when I called the first time, could hear. He isn't doing anything wrong. He isn't doing anything wrong. I mean, she repeatedly said that to me, like, tell me that's not belittling. I'm like, what? Again, it's not right. It's not acceptable.
I will say, we have made Tom aware. His response is, just doing it and getting away through. They are connected, they have relationships, and they're able to get away with it. That's what your town code enforcement.
Well, that's good feedback because respectfully, we're a governing board. We don't have any authority over that matter. That is New York state law.
Who do we
Us. And I appreciate you I
Yeah.
appreciate you coming out tonight. I do.
Like to sue them or the town because like there's no protection for the people. There is no respect or regard.
Well, again, respectfully, that project went through the planning board. It did not go through the town board.
But they did not do what was approved, okay? And that needs to be looked at.
And why is there no penalty?
Hold on. When they have three, when they're only three businesses, and then they bring in six, and nothing's done about it. Just watching it happen again.
Understood. And thank you for coming in. So we will review those planning board meeting minutes, and I'll speak with the planning board chairman. So thank you for coming in,
Yes.
bringing that to our attention. All right, so circling back. So this is regarding Phil. Kevin Monaco, Mr. Monaco came in, provided an application for Phil. This is for Phil located at 7040 South Abbott Road. All the information is here. In here, it's all soil fill. Length of time required to place said fill into property is 10 to 12 months. The time when the said fill operations are intended to commence is backdated February 1st, 2024, and the time that the said fill operations are intended to be completed will be December 31st, 2024.
I ask you, how can that be backdated?
That is part of, right?
Because, it's been going on with no permits. Very simple.
Yeah.
Guys,
We
it's a comparison.
we have been chasing, and I have no problem telling you this as a tax-paying citizen to pay our salaries. We've been chasing this problem for years, which is why we created a new fill permit form. All these residents came in almost a year and a half ago, expressed their concern. The old fill permits were not being pulled by residents. It was as this was stated before, people are doing things without even coming, going in front of the code enforcement officer. It doesn't come for the town board first. Respectfully, it goes, the process is somebody wants to come in, fill out a permit, requesting additional fill, they go in front of the code enforcement officer. All that information is verified, submitted over to the town clerk, then gets added into the town board packet after the necessary and applicable fees have been done. All the town board is doing is basically giving a thumbs up or thumb down to the application once that's been vetted by the code enforcement officer. So that's the process.
Unfortunately, what you guys are telling us is that, you're going to continue to make exceptions for those that break the rules. Right? And that's what's happening. And that's where we hold you accountable.
Understood.
That's where you have to be held accountable.
Understood. So
Town board, there's no accountability here in Boston. They do whatever they want to do.
Everybody deserves a chance. It's the first time I've ever been here. I will tell them how I feel, and I will see the reactions, okay? That's how you handle it.
well, if we could just come up to the microphone and because again, this is a public hearing and anybody wants to speak, ma'am, we've had this conversation a couple times in board meetings. If you'd like to speak, you can come up to the microphone, state your name and your address. But this is a public hearing regarding a permit. If you would like to speak at the open floor session, that's shortly after this, once we move forward. I'd like to keep it on topic. I'm listening to the resident expressing their concern regarding the fill permits. This has been something that the town board's been working with for a while. But also respectfully, this is something that code enforcement, we will be working with them and also the planning board. Actually, they're appointed by the town board, but outside of any of the actionable items, the town board doesn't have any authority over a code enforcement officer's enforcement actions.
So the fact that they're clear is not enough.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the problem.
There hasn't been for years. I will agree with you.
So you guys can't just do one guy because you don't have. That's all we're asking. I would be in the same situation with you.
I will, I don't know how long you have tonight, but I will absolutely have no problem staying and anybody wants to listen to what I have to say. Code enforcement is a challenge across the state. There are not enough code enforcement officers. That's a civil service position. For the record, we go off of a list for full-time. Part-time is a completely, we're working with civil service law. That's kind of the criteria that we have to work within. But yes, that office years ago used to be almost 4 individuals. There's part-time and full-time in that office. That office needs to get back there. We have, through attrition, we've lost people, but also respectfully, there's other people haven't come in. So we need to get that back where it needs to be. We've been working with our engineer for code enforcement services as well, while we're trying to identify qualified candidates. And something we're working on. I mean, we've been posting for the position. It's just a matter of getting people through the door interested in the position. So. Yeah.
I actually have 45
Don't,
Not doing permits, ruining property value. That's what you guys are doing.
Right. Yep, we will absolutely review those planning board minutes. So thank you.
The only thing I'll add to that, sir, is just like the situation on Hillcrest, we don't know until people come here and talk.
We have made you aware. We have made.
And there's not a doubt in my mind that the process wasn't followed exactly the way it should have been done with that project initially. I grant you that. But like I said to the same group of people a short time ago, it was shocking to hear what was going on Hillcrest. And I'll get to you. But it's these types of meetings where you become aware about these things, you know? I mean, and people do things on their property all the time. A lot of people don't care, you know? And then you try to put the genie back in the bottle. I mean, you're a businessman, you know that. So it's difficult. And I grant you, and I'm sympathetic to the situation.
I don't need sympathy, but thank you. I understand. That's why we're here making you aware.
Yep.
It happened once. Don't let it happen again. That's your job, right? That's all we're saying, right?
Understood.
They already cheated once, and now they continue to go on because you can't enforce it. So now they filled it all in again, and now they're asking for permit and they're backdating it. Same BS, excuse my French. And now the planning board's going to let them build another building with 6 more. Right? You understand what I'm saying?
I can't comment on how this process will be in the planning board.
This is the facts. I've stated the facts of what's happened already
Yeah.
without permits
Sure.
and code enforcement telling me. Okay? So
Yep.
I can only tell when I talk to the right people. If there's somebody else to talk to, please let me know.
Sure.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Respectfully, sir, this isn't a new issue going back to Hillcrest, and I sympathize with your situation. That's why I'm standing back up, because you were aware of this. And we had the entire neighborhood come and plead to you.
Right.
Basically, like I said, you can tell there's anger.
Sure.
I'm extremely angry.
Yeah.
Extremely.
And that's
And we came
why
and
we
pled
did what
to
we
you.
did with the permit.
And here we are with an approved permit. We have someone that comes up and disregards all the rule of law, all everything, and we go through the whole deal. We beg you, and across the board, approved. Only 8-4, 9-4, but approved.
Well, we're trying to resolve
I
an issue.
understand.
I mean, that's what reasonable people do.
Correct.
you know-
Reasonable people don't take out construction projects for 10 years, though.
I don't disagree with you.
You know,
So-
reasonable people don't build giant buildings and stuff and then ask for forgiveness afterwards.
Sure.
You know, we tried to do it the right way.
Yep.
Got angry people.
Understood.
Okay. Anyone else on the fill permit for Monaco Enterprises? All right. Any discussion from the board?
I moved to table that this evening.
Okay.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby?
Yes.
Councilman Cardicchini?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
I'd like to just amend that motion. I have no issues tabling it whatsoever. I believe we need to seek additional input from the planning board. Because I mean, really respectfully, it goes in front of the planning board, any permits that are pulled. Yeah, so we need additional information from the planning board on this matter.
Okay.
I would second that as well. But
Did you make a motion to amend this or?
Motion to amend. Yes.
Okay.
second the amendment motion.
Okay. Councilwoman Selby?
Yes.
Councilman Cardicchini?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, that is it for our public hearings tonight. So going back to our regular meeting information tonight. So item number 2 under regular business is the correction and adoption of minutes from the June 25th, 2024 meeting. And Councilwoman Martin, would you like to take that item tonight?
Yes, thank you, Supervisor. I had a moment to look over the draft of the meeting from June 25th, 2024, and I make a motion to approve that.
A second.
Councilwoman Selby?
Yes.
Councilman Cardicchini?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek?
Abstain.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, item number 2 under regular business tonight is a consideration of all fund bills. And Councilman Cardicchini, would you like to take that item?
Yeah, thank you, Supervisor Keating. I've reviewed the fund bills and I make a motion that we pay the bills in the amount of $513,292.92.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Cardicchini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, under,
Hey, I'm sorry, are you doing requests from the floor?
we will be.
Yeah.
Okay, because you said wait to speak till you do requests from the floor. But now
We
you
haven't,
went
we
into
haven't
the
gotten there
second-
yet, ma'am.
You went into the second thing on the
No.
business. You didn't even address. requests
I'm
from-
following the agenda, ma'am, which was published online and available on the table if you would like to view it. Item 3 is our correspondence tonight. So we have 12 items of correspondence, all received and filed in the town clerk's office. Item 1 is the town clerk's report for June 2024. Item number 2 is the dog control officer report for June 2024. Item number 3 is the Erie County Sewer District number 3 meeting minutes from June 12th, 2024. Item number 4 is a letter from Commissioner William E. Geary for the Erie County Department of Public Works, which is a certificate, a notice of restriction for roads. Item number 5, email from the Arts and Services Incorporated for the 2024 Summer Concert Series grant funding that the town recently received. Item number 6 is the Erie County Department of Environment and Planning update to the Association of Erie County Governments, June 27th, 2024. Item number 7 is a press release from Assemblymember Jonathan Rivera regarding ErieNet, which is being currently installed in the town of Boston. Item number 8 is a press release from NYSEG and RG&E, which pertains to their outreach programs for customers facing payment challenges. Item number 9 is the New York State Ag and Markets Municipal Inspection Report dated June 26, 2024. Item number 10 is the fireworks donations received updated list. Item number 11 is the NYSERDA application for the EV charging station here at the town Boston Town Hall parking lot. Item number 12 is the proposed 2025 budget calendar. Again, all items have been received and filed in town clerk's office and available in the town board packet. Moving on to new business. First item, request from the floor. If there's any comments from the public, please come up to the microphone, state your name and address, and you have 3 minutes each.
My name is Denise Upland. I live at 4514 Center Road. As a resident, it's disgusting to stand here and look at you as a board, given all the stuff that's gone on here at this meeting. At these people on Hillcrest have complained about this for 10 years. The man who's bringing villain has violated the law. Who's above the law? Is he above the law? Who is above the law? That's a question for you, Jason Keating. You're the supervisor. Who is above the law?
No one is above the law, but it's actually not even a code. It's an application, respectfully.
Okay, then somebody has accountability. That's you. You're the elected officials. You have accountability. You represent the people who elected you and you represent people who did not elect you, correct?
Agreed, which is why we created the fill permit, and it's enforceable by the code enforcement officer, not the town
You
board.
appoint the code enforcement officer.
That is
Then
true.
the code enforcement officer is accountable to you. If
That is
you
correct.
appoint him, then don't say, well, we don't have accountability. Well, we're not responsible for that.
Didn't say those words.
What did you say about the?
I didn't say
code
we didn't have
enforcement
accountability. I said we are not we're a governing body. We're not an authority body, which is why I agree with everything you're telling all of us right now tonight. So we appoint any code enforcement officer that serves for the public. They are appointed by the town board. 100% correct. Also 100% accurate is the fact that the code enforcement officer is the individual or individuals, should there be more than one office, and responsible for enforcing any and all town codes, violations for fill permits or otherwise.
As the governing board, then you're not responsible for making sure that he does his job correctly?
We are, but in these concerns brought to us, then we will then have those follow-up conversations tomorrow or the next day. Absolutely.
And the individual that's dealing with Monaco, that's sad. He's violating the law as well. And yet you do nothing about it. You don't even care. It's pathetic. When are you going to resign as a town board? You don't represent the people who live here. You represent your friends. You want this person to like you, that person to like you.
Okay. Well,
You don't care about the people here. You only care about yourselves. I'm not friends with anybody in this room. I'm not your friend. I'm not friends with anybody on that board. I don't know anybody in this room. It's sad. You don't have to know anybody. Just do your job. Do your job and take politics out of your job. Do your job and take the family relationships out of your job. Do your job and take the friendship relationships out of your
I
job.
don't have family
And
here,
do your
ma'am.
job and take the associations out of your job. If he violates the law, then you know what? Tell him, you know what? You're done. You're done hauling stuff in here. That's it. You've hauled 70 loads in here that are legally, you're finished.
Understood.
If he doesn't want to, if he can live somewhere else. He doesn't have to live in Boston. Let him move. He can go do his project in another town, in another county.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone.
How are you tonight?
Jeff Persanti, 7806 Fedek Road. I guess going along the common theme of the night here is playing by the rules, doing everything that should be done, following the correct procedures. I'm just going to state a couple of the facts for what's going on with the solar project, proposed solar project on Fedek Road. An extreme variance is being requested. 500 feet from the bordering lines is the standard variance. They want the people, this Delaware River Solar, they want to bring it down to within 100 feet, an extreme variance. They don't have any approval from any of the town boards currently. After going to the Conservation Board meeting, I believe it was last month, we were just informed that in March, there was an endangered species of bat that calls this area home. And they want to cut a vast amount of forest where this endangered species lives after looking at the plan submitted to Mr. Murphy. Those are some of the facts. It was brought to my attention that Delaware River Solar just submitted a proposal for a permit from Neubauer Clark, I believe is the engineering firm. And they want to get a permit for a fire road.
I'm sorry, a what?
A fire access road, I believe it was, something along the lines of that. I don't know if I used the correct terminology on that, but
Fair enough.
I believe that's what it was. Now, when you haven't received any permission for any variance, you haven't received any other permissions whatsoever, and you just start submitting applications for permits for a fire road or fire access road, it seems to be a bit out of order, and it raised some serious questions between myself and many residents who are opposing this project. And I was just coming here on behalf of all of our neighbors and all our friends who oppose this industrial solar in a residential area to try to get some answers and figure out why they're submitting this to Mr. Murphy for approval when they don't have any permits, they don't have any zoning variances, nothing whatsoever granted to them at this point, and was just hoping that you might be able to enlighten us on that and any other things that they try to do. Because if I didn't hear it and it wasn't in the minutes, we probably wouldn't be here discussing it. So if you would be so kind just to let us know that and tell us anything that you have all heard, and also let us know why this whole process is going on completely backwards. We'd just like to know, because like everybody here, we want everything done by the rules and not with corners cut. Somebody's going to get this, somebody's going to get that. And we hope that you can just enlighten us on that if it is all possible.
I mean, as far as the solar project, the legal counsel that the town board has retained, to my knowledge, there is no permits that have been granted for that project. There's still litigation on their Delaware River Solar.
Correct.
Just like the last time we spoke, they have their legal counsel, Hodgson and Russ. I'm not sure where they're going with this, but I don't disagree with you. There's still additional questions, and as as of most recent that the town has received correspondence from Erie County Environment Planning, the commissioner, most specifically Dan Castle, that there's additional questions that went back through that seeker process. And for those of you that are not familiar with seeker, that's a state Environmental Quality Review Act. That is something that's way removed from this board, but that's a process that is followed under state law. And anyway, that's all part of the process. So I'm not sure exactly what their angle or their approach is. So
Okay, thank you. Did you hear anything about permit being requested for this
I have
fire
not.
access road?
I have not.
I'm kind of curious why their engineering firm would try to do something like that when they hadn't received any permissions for anything at all to even get the ball rolling.
Not sure.
Okay.
I could speak to Mr. Kaniak. Mr. Kaniak, he's the attorney. Legal counsel was retained for this project.
Okay.
Back in the early days when you and I originally started speaking,
Yes.
or we all started speaking. So,
Would Mr. Murphy have any other information on that?
I mean, I would presume any information that's in his office. Absolutely.
But they didn't bring anything to any of the board members,
Nope.
zoning board, this
Nope.
board.
And respectfully, that should have been turned over to the council for the town.
Right, because following the proper channels and the proper procedure.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question, just hearing some of this. Do you have an active member that's actively working every day, work day as a code enforcer, or is Tom not working anymore?
No, Tom's in the office.
Working every day?
Mhm.
I just want to make sure.
Sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And we did approve for 2 part-time people to bolster that office. And we've interviewed people and they won't accept the position based on the wage that we're able to offer. So that's another problem that we have in that office, just to state that publicly.
If you'd
Please
like
do.
to, if you are interested, I will send you all the code enforcement officer training material. It's not a very
Yeah.
heavy lift, respectfully. It's not.
I don't know if I can disclose.
It's freedom of
It was
information.
Re-
approved in the minutes. It was stated in the minutes.
Yep.
I don't recall off the top of my head, but somewhere near $20 an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and that's, we budget, we try to, the job, you said it yourself. I mean, the people that what's that? Super.
You have to be a Boston resident?
No.
It's preferred, but no, you don't.
Town of Boston is one because of our geography. Sorry, our geography, 36 square miles. We don't have a large, if you will, talent pool to pull from, respectfully, of all residents. So residency is preferred, not required. So if we have 3 applicants, and out of the 3, 1 or 2 happen to be Boston residents, we will kind of weight preference on the Boston residents, respectfully, it's our taxpayer money, over somebody who is outside of the area. That does change when you look at full-time, because again, for civil service criteria, these are the different plates that are spinning behind the scenes for us. Civil service, you have to canvass the top candidates off the list first, and that's a civil service requirement. So it does. Yes. So we have to follow all the same civil service guidance now for those jobs. Code enforcement, is kind of unique in the fact that not only do you can't just be an individual walking in saying, "Hey, I want to go do building inspections." You have to go through the criteria. But like I said, there's an online self-study program. You can go to classes and attend classes for the program. We've been looking for a while. It's just a matter of getting people in, and we're very aware that we're probably gonna have to make a budget amendment, bump that line item in the budget up, and to get people, to the door. It's just. Agreed with you. Code enforcement is almost double that right now is the current market rate. To your point, yes, it's a different world right now, right? Yep. And then we're trying to manage the budget, being responsible and fiscally responsible. There's our world. So, any other requests from the floor tonight? I know we got some conversations in the back. Okay, nothing else. We'll move along in our business tonight. Item numbers 2 and 3 were our public hearings. So we're going to move along to item number 4, which is a resolution number 2024-46 for the standard workday and reporting. And Councilwoman Selby, would you like to take that item tonight?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution number 2024-46, where we have a standard workday reporting requirement as per Exhibit A. And as that per exhibit, I'd like to make that a motion to approve that resolution.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Cardicchini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, item number 5 is resolution 2024-47, authorizing a disposal of surplus equipment. And Councilwoman Martin, would you like to take that item tonight?
Yes, Supervisor, I make a motion to approve resolution number 2024-47, which the town hall had to upgrade computers and some other miscellaneous office equipment. And this makes the items on the attached list surplus inventory to remove from capital asset and inventory listings, and authorizing the disposal of these assets through sales, auction, scrap metal, or certified destruction. I make a motion to approve this resolution.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Cardicchini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, item number 6 is resolution 2024-48 for the Boys and Girls Club driveway paving. And Councilwoman Lukacek, would you like to take that item?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. So this is resolution number 2024-48 authorizes paving of the Boys and Girls Club driveway right over here. So the total price of milling and paving totals $33,911.76 due to
Okino.
Thank you. Corporation. And this funding was budgeted in the account A1620-0200 for buildings, equipment, and capital outlay. I make a motion that we approve.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Cardicchini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item number 7 tonight is a request from the zoning board for an appointment of Pamela Zielinski for an alternate zoning board member, and a term is going to be carried through December 31st, 2026. Councilwoman Martin, would you like to take that item?
Yep, I'll make a motion to approve Miss Pamela Zielinski as an alternate ZBA member.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Cardicchini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, item number 8. Actually, I'm going to do 8 and 9 together. These are both are to approve a leave of absence. One is for Donna Leno, and the other one is for Tina Weisdell. I'll take these 2 items tonight. Just like to make a motion to approve the dates of absence. Both of these employees work in our congregate dining program downstairs and serve our senior population, but they also have a part-time job and they over at the fairgrounds. So they would like to both take time off from July 22nd to August 23rd. They can make the motion to approve items 8 and 9.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Cardicchini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item number 10 is to appoint a temporary hire in nutrition. This is to fill those 2 individuals taking some time off, and that is for Karen Rubick. And Councilwoman Martin, would you like to take that item tonight?
Yes, I make a motion to approve Karen Rubeck to fill in temporarily from July 22nd through August 23rd.
I'll second.
Just like to make a quick amendment. That is at
1564.
thank you.
It's at
What's the rate of pay?
$15.64.
Thank you. Yep,
Thank you.
for the rate.
For the, yeah. Thank you.
Okay, was there a second on
I'll
that? I'm
second.
sorry.
Okay.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Cardicchini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item number 11 is to appoint a part-time clerk to Highway. And Councilwoman Selby, would you like to take that item tonight?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I'd like to make a motion to appoint a part-time clerk to the Highway Superintendent, Jordan Clark, at $19.92 per hour.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Cartagena,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukajek,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item number 12 tonight is an application for use of facility for the Conservation Advisory Council LEAF, which is the Local Environmental Awareness Fair. And Councilwoman Martin, would you like to take that item?
Yes, Supervisor, I'd like to approve the application for use of facility for the Boston Conservation Advisory Council for their annual LEAF event, which will be held this year, September 14th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They will be using the Town Hall Community Room with kitchen and bathroom, and also the Lion Shelter with bathroom facilities. I make a motion to approve this use of facility.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Cartagena,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukajek,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item number 13 is an application for use of facility for the Hamburg Swim Club. And Councilman Cartagena, would you like to take that item?
Thank you, Supervisor Keating. We've got an application for use of facility by the Hamburg Swim Club, Melissa Craig. They would like to request the use of the Lion Shelter and bathroom facilities on August 28th, 2024, from 5 to 8 p.m. For their swim family picnic.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Cartagena,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukajek,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, item number 14 is to schedule a public hearing for the fire contracts on August 21st, 2024 at 7:35 p.m. Councilman Cartagena, would you like to take that item?
Thank you, Supervisor Keating. I'd like to schedule a public hearing for the fire service contracts on Wednesday, August 21st at 7:35 p.m. Madam Clerk, could you please schedule that with the paper?
I sure will.
Thank you. Motion's on the floor.
I'll second.
Thank you. Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Cartagena,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukajek,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, that is it for our new business. One item under old business tonight, and that item is a resolution for dated number 2024-49, authorizing to enter into a professional services agreement or agreements, this will be two tonight, for a water improvement projects. I'll take this item. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution. The town board has determined that the following firms are the most qualified to handle the specific municipal engineered needs associated with various water system improvement projects for the town of Boston. And that would be our two engineers. One is CPL, used to be known as Clark Patterson Lee, but then also Labella. So I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution 2024-49.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Cartagena,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukajek,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, that is it for our business tonight. Reports and presentations. Highway Superintendent, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you. First, I'd like to thank the board for the appointing my new highway clerk. My present clerk, Mary Ann, she decided to move down south, so she's moving to Carolina. She was a great worker, and we're definitely going to miss her. The past week, we've been oil and stoning quite a few roads. Turned out really well. Next week, Monday and Tuesday, we're going to start Nova chipping all the subdivision roads off of Back Creek Road, Homestead, Old Orchard, Cloverfield, James, Johns, Enders, Charles. We're going to Nova chip. That's a process we used last year up on Keller Road. It seems to work out really well. The guy's been out mowing shoulders. The next week or two, we're going to be changing a culvert pipe up on Pin Oak that crosses underneath the road. It's brought it out pretty bad, needs changing. And I don't know, a lot of people didn't really know about the tornadoes that hit this week in our town, but if they hit your house in your neighborhood, you definitely knew about it. It hit up on Fedek Road, hit my brother-in-law, my sister's house, my nephew's house, cross Keller Road, cross Zimmerman Road, and then it totally went across the whole valley without hitting anything, you know. So not a lot of people were affected, but the people that definitely got hit by it definitely had a lot of damage. So it was quite an event. Not that we have them too often, and hopefully we don't get too many more. And other than that, as far as in the Parks Department, we had a very large willow tree down on the walking path that fell down, blew down, whatever happened to it, but it's right across the walking path. And we're going to take the highway backhoe down there and a couple chainsaws and work at it and get the path opened up. But yeah, it's a very large willow tree. So Other than that, that's all I have tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilwoman Selby, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I'd like to first of all welcome our new town attorney, Mr. Ryan McMahon. We look forward to working with you. Also, I'd like to thank Marianne Mays and Highway for the many years of service. She's done a great job down there. I met Marianne a long time ago when she started, and she's a great worker. We're going to miss her. I also want to say thanks to all the people that came out tonight. I really appreciate hearing from you. And we're going to really work to get this resolved in all aspects. It's not easy to come out and talk in front of people. I understand that 100%. And we're not perfect, but we are trying our dangest for this town. I've been in this town for over 30 years. My kids grew up here. I want to do the right thing too. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Cardicchini, you have the floor.
Thank you, Supervisor Keating. I too would like to welcome our new council, Ryan. Look forward to working with you. We've got a lot of things happening in this town, and glad to have you on board. Last week, Jason and I had a meeting with the fire companies to talk about their LoSAP program. We received conflicting information, and we did an audit on their length of service awards points program, and it was a really good meeting. We learned that a lot of the things that were classified a certain way shouldn't be done that way, and so we're on a good path for working with our first responders. Wanted to take a moment and thank the Boston Fire Company, the North Boston Fire Company, and Patchen Fire Company for being involved in that meeting. It was actually really productive and lasted a lot longer than I thought it would, but
great conversation.
Yeah, it was good. So, and I'd like to take a moment to recognize the residents that came out tonight. We can't correct problems that we don't know about. And that meeting where we changed the fill pit permit application, that was the meaningful result of people coming out and talking. When you cover an area that we do in the town of Boston, you can't, especially the five of us, it's not what we do, but you don't know about the things if you're not driving by them or you don't live right across the street from them. I mean, I live right next door to Rucker Lumber, and there's a lot of dust and things that are associated with that business. But I mean, you work with your neighbors as best you can. Nobody on this board has an agenda or looks the other way with certain people. I mean, we've been by the letter of the law, and we've been transparent, and we're accessible, and we're not meeting outside and determining who wins and who loses. I mean, I would argue to say this is the most transparent board that has been in the town. And there were a lot of problems when we came in that you had to address and correct. We're going through a comprehensive plan right now where anybody's welcome to attend these meetings and offer their input for the town. It's what the residents of the town want it to look like in 10, 15, 20 years. So they're published on the website. Yeah. I mean, oh, absolutely. That's what it's all about.
There's public meetings. I don't mean to, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's meetings for the public, and then there's committee meetings. And actually the comprehensive plan is actually going to be part of my report. I'll answer your question in my report. I don't want to cut off the councilman from his report, but I'll answer your question. Absolutely.
No, but the whole goal of this board is to try to make it better than it is. And it was a frustrating thing to come into office and realize that you can't just do what you want to do. There's a process for everything that you do, which is why we have an attorney to guide us. There's things that we can do that we have authority to do, and there's things that we don't. And there's things that have to go through a process. And I know it's not, Kathy said it best, it's not perfect, but it's functional. And we're trying to do the right things to make sure the town is on a good path going forward. And a big part of that is hearing from people and hearing what people have to say. So thank you all for coming out. This, I think our last meeting when we had the issue on Hillcrest, it was about the same amount of time, and I believe it was close to our longest meeting. So thank you. That's all I have tonight.
Thank you. Councilwoman Lukacek, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. So the upcoming planning board meeting, if they have one, that depends on if people are submitting applications, is scheduled for August 13th. And there just was the Boston Comprehensive Plan Steering Committee meeting on the 15th, if I got the dates right. So that does kind of change because of the summer months and the steering committee meetings membership, right? And we do hold periodic public meetings that we really, really need the public to attend. So we know what you want and what you're looking for, so we can build a plan to adjust for that. There's one of the members here from the Comprehensive Steering Committee. If you're interested, might be able to help, direct you in the right, what you're looking for, but it is on the website under Comprehensive Plan. And that's all I have.
Thank you very much. Councilwoman Martin, you have the floor.
Well, as usual, the last one to speak, you all stole my thunder. So welcome, council, to the council, Ryan. We appreciate you being here, and you've already had some really relevant input. Again, thanking all the people that came out today to speak to what was exactly what I was going to say is we don't know that there's a problem unless it's brought to our attention. So, and of course, we all are residents of the town, and we all want the best for everybody that lives in the town as well. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, you have the floor.
Thank you, Supervisor Keating. The last Connect Life blood drive was July 2nd in the community room. Again, Boston came out to do their part. 26 units were collected, which helped save the lives of 78 local patients. The next blood drive is Tuesday, August 6th from 2 to 7 in the community room. And at this point in July, all of the unpaid 2024 town and county taxes have been returned to Erie County. If taxes were unpaid and a resident would like to know what the balance is due to the county, please contact the county in a week or so. Give them a little time to get all of that information transferred into their computer. And I just wanted to read something that will be published in the Springville Journal and also in the Springville Penny Saver. This is a notice of dog license fees. Article 7 of the New York State Agriculture and Market Law requires all dogs older than 4 months to be licensed within the town they reside in. Spayed and neutered is a one per year, $10 for the license. Unspayed, unneutered is $18 per year. Spayed and neutered dogs that reside with a senior 65 years and older, there is a $2 discount for both spayed and unspayed. A late or delinquent renewal fee. Starting May 16th, when these new fees were adopted by the town board, there will be a $5 per month late fee. There is a 30-day grace period for this. Any owner found with an unlicensed dog or dogs will be subject to a $10 additional license fee per dog. All dogs over 4 months of age harbored in the town of Boston for more than 30 days need a town of Boston dog license. Dogs will need a current rabies certificate, proof of spay or neuter if applicable. Dogs can be licensed at the Boston Town Clerk's office, that's my office, at the Boston Town Hall. My hours are Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Cash or check are accepted as payment. And of course, if you have any questions, you can give me a call, 716-941-6113, extension 5. That is all I have. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. I'll start off with a comprehensive plan to answer the gentleman's question in the back. So the comprehensive plan has been going on for a while. There was a committee, the comprehensive plan committee. We solicited, additional membership, if you will, for citizens, business owners, the agricultural community. We did an extensive amount of outreach to have people come out into this committee. Since it started to the time that we are today, I can tell you that roughly about 7 people have dropped off, sadly. But if there are public meetings. There's not one currently coming up, but we are almost in the final stages of this comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan is Councilman Cardicchini was saying, that's kind of the roadmap into the future, looking at the next 5, 10, 15 years. And ideally, whoever sits at the board at that time should be doing another comprehensive plan update. Things change. The world changed 17 years ago. These things were launched, and here we are today with a phone without buttons. So, things change. You need to stay relevant. And also in the state of New York, that comprehensive plan helps whoever is at the town board secure additional grant funding. So the Conservation Advisory Council's LEAF event, Local Environmental Awareness Fair, will have a draft document there for viewing. It is something we provided to the town board, and we are seeking feedback and input onto that. So I guess to kind of answer your question, that's there. There has been, as you might imagine, there's been a lot of conversation about proposed solar in the town. The town cannot just flat out say no. I know people don't like that answer, but that's the legality of it. So where do we want this? Smart planning, smart building, that's solar. The topics of renewables. I know it doesn't always sit well with people, but solar, wind, I don't see wind being here. We have a local law in the books from 2007 before any of us was on this board that was passed, adopted by that town board at the time. We are not friendly to wind at all. Will it hold up to court? Don't know. Couldn't answer that question. That's for a judge to determine, not this town board. So that will probably keep it out of our community there. That's my opinion. Could be wrong. But outside of that, that's a comprehensive plan. It does bring a lot of opportunity. Some of the recommendations, just to share with, I know it's getting late, and again, we got little ones here in the audience, but the comprehensive plan update, one of the suggestions was a rails to trails. Again, that's a love or hate topic, but that was something that came out of the public feedback. How do we better help our farming community? We have 3 proposed traffic circles in the town. We've taken the feedback. I mean, this town board we've done traffic studies to try to find ways to work with Erie County and how to slow down traffic so we don't have accidents out on Boston State Road and other areas. So there's a lot of different things in there. We're looking for the feedback, and we absolutely want feedback. So please feel free to take a look at that document and provide that to the committee. We'll go from there, and then the town board will adopt that project. So I hope that answers the question. If not, do you have anything else for me on that one?
No, just the next upcoming.
Sure. Next, it will be on the website. Yes. Yep. No problem. So yes, I would like to officially welcome Ryan aboard and on board with the team. He and I have a bunch of questions, but this is his first town board meeting. Would also like to thank Mary Ann for her service. Gosh, I remember interviewing her back in the day when she was a clerk before she went down the highway. So she's definitely served a long tenure here with the town. So thank you, Mary Ann, for all of your service. I did want to talk about drainage very briefly. The end of Deanna Drive, I did have some residents that reached out during the torrential downpours that we had. Went down there, provided pictures to, his name is Mark Gaston, but that's the Erie County Soil and Water District. Went out to the board. It went out to the engineer, which is Carmina Woods, Chris Woods specifically, Glenn Wetzel. We had all the stakeholders there, including the town engineer. I met with those residents. We'll keep them up to date on what's going on down there. We'll see how that all shakes out. There's a lot of water that happened. I mean, granted, we had a torrential downpour, but there's a lot of water that ended up at the bottom of Deanna Drive, and there's an opportunity to do better there. So just want to touch base on that. I won't continue to keep on kicking the topic of Phil, but yes, we will continue to listen to any and all residents. That's why we're here. I appreciate everybody that came out tonight. That's our job. And I agree with Councilman Cardicchini 100%. Kind of like the last reiteration, we don't know what we don't know. And I'm not trying to dodge anybody's question by saying that, but that's why where we respect people coming into the town board. There are admittedly the regulars that attend these meetings. There are board meetings where we don't have a single soul in the audience. It's kind of weird. But we do respect you coming out, calling, phoning us, coming out to board meetings. That's your choice. And we all respect that. So please feel free to keep that dialogue open. We do know we have some opportunities out there. We will get there where we need to be. And it's just a matter of, keeping the dialogue open and the communication open. So we will research those planning board meeting minutes, see what's going on, and go from there. So the length of service award point program, I just wanted to add on to the what Mike was saying here, that so one of the things that came up with the service award point program was the actual definitions. It's all governed by general municipal law, to Councilman Cardicchini's point. everything we do in here is governed by law. So the law states, particular points are awarded for particular positions. There was a document created way before us, and it needed to be cleaned up. Why it wasn't before us, I couldn't answer that question. That's what we're in the process of doing now. So that's what we're going through, and it is nice to have level-headed people all sitting at the table working toward a common goal of just let's get it right. Take the time, do it right first. So we'll get that done. And I think that's all I have. So I know it. And
19th is the next.
sure, yeah, good point. August 19th. Councilman Lukacek looked up the next comprehensive plan meeting is the August 19th. So again, that is a committee meeting only. You are welcome if you wanted to pop in, but that's a committee meeting only. And then the LEAF event will be kind of a public one. We'll have more information coming out there. As always, anytime, call my office. I'll be happy to provide any information you want. With that, the next town board meeting, there is not a meeting on August 7th. We're in our summer schedule, so the next town board meeting will be August 21st, which is the third Wednesday in the month. So I'll make a motion to end the meeting 9:31 p.m.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Cardicchini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried, meeting adjourned.
All right.
Thank you all for your time tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I always used to call him Julius. He used to be at the family reunion. Yeah. Yeah.